that we cannot do too much about, of course, but it was an excellent, strong operational and financial performance for the year. As you say, the headline earnings were up 27%. Margins were strong based on oil price, and it's just been a great time for the company. The volumes are also up, even though we had a large planned maintenance outage at Synfuels, down 4%. The other businesses made up for that shortfall and really delivered. Then cost containment, right? We're only 4% up. That's less than inflation, and as you saw, dividends are up 24% to 13 Rand. Very exciting that we're following our progressive dividend policy and returning value to our shareholders.
Let's touch on the hedging strategy, something that a lot of investors are very keen to hear on. We know that you operate within a very wide collar. We know that there hasn't really been an impact during this financial year. Are you planning to relook that hedge?
You know, we keep an eye on it. We hedged this year from March to June for a 3-month period. A very wide collar, $85 to $172 on oil. And so we continue to watch that. Our Chief Financial Officer, Christine Ramon, keeps a close eye and keeps me informed. So I won't rule it out, and it's something we do to keep our risk profile where we need it.
Let's take a look at the Brent crude price, because over the period we saw an average Brent crude price of around $97 a barrel or so much higher than the previous period. What kind of risks lie ahead? Because we know that there's a lot of tension in the Middle East that is keeping the Brent crude price elevated. What kind of scenario are you pricing in going forward?
Yeah, right now it's just above that. Like you say, there's lots of uncertainty in the markets, and we are looking at just over $100, call it on or about $100 US per Brent barrel.
Let's touch on the shale gas environment, especially when you look at Canada, and we know that there's a lot of optimism around what could be experienced here in South Africa. What are the prospects going forward for your new acquisition?
We've been fracking in the oil and gas industry since the 30s in Alberta. And so all we're doing now is making it a horizontal drill as well at the bottom and fracking very far down. Now, chemicals, Talisman Energy puts their fracking chemicals on their website, and it's non-toxic, not an issue. They're working with the British Columbia government to put all of oil and gas companies' fracking chemicals on their website so the public can see that. Water, also an issue. Water is being piped in from a lake. This water is recyclable. And you don't use water for the entire life of the well. You use it for about a week, less than a week, to frack these wells and then move on. So water is not a continuous process that's used in the fracking and production of the wells. So I think from everything I can see, and hopefully we can come to South Africa, and I know the moratorium is on right now, which is the right thing. Sasol supports that moratorium so that we bring best practices to the table and make sure we're comfortable with the regulatory environment and make sure those operators come in and operate safely.
Are you pro-fracking in South Africa then, I would take it? And if we did have a significant find, then would Sasol be involved? We know Shell has come to the fore first. What kind of involvement would you like to have?
We believe if it is a significant find, it is of national importance. It would change the entire landscape of the country. It would look more like a Western Canada, only cleaner, because our oil sands in Alberta are not as environmentally friendly as this gas would be. So it's very exciting, and Sasol would love to be a part of it. And I hope that the moratorium comes up with some good answers to protect the environment, and look at how we can get water to that site. Water is an issue. So do we desalinate on the coast and pipeline it in as required, or do we use brackish water from way underground? These are things that need to be discussed and looked at, but we should not just say no out of hand.
You've got 18 billion rand sitting on the balance sheet at this point in time. Very strong cash position, very low gearing at this stage. We know that prior to the crisis, Sasol had a very strong balance sheet, which put them in good stead, put you in good stead, given the fact that we did see a significant downturn. How do you plan to allocate this cash going forward? You've got a strong dividend yield sitting at 4%. You've increased your dividend. What kind of strategy is going to be put in place with regards to this?
It's a great position to be in, especially with economic uncertainty. So cash is king right now. And at the same time, we have a progressive dividend policy to focus on total shareholder return. That's one of my key goals going forward. And a progressive dividend policy is a big part of growing TSR. So we will be continuing on a progressive dividend policy into the future. We will use those funds for our capital investments. You've heard about Uzbekistan moving to the next phase, just waiting on some commercial conditions to be signed off. You've heard about the U.S. gas to liquids and integrated chemicals plant. all those funds are going to be flowing to those types of projects, and we need that strong balance sheet. Coupled with the dividend policy, you've got a value stock and you've got a growth stock.
Let's touch on India, again, another lucrative market, and you say that your pre-feasibility study with respect to the coal liquids plant as well, largely being concluded. When do you expect to start operating within that region? A
coal to liquids plant is a large undertaking, and as we move out of pre-feasibility, and now we're really looking at the coal qualities and the amounts of reserves that we have there. So that's going to take some more time, probably through the middle of 2012, and then we'll take another look at feasibility and then moving it forward. So it is a long-term process, but we have a great partner in Tata in country, and we're looking at that very positively right now.